Lunchtime, little late lunchtime edition of 94 Feet of Life / The Scene. Remember, if you're on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Subscribe, hit the notifications, THE Scene, SCEN in capital letters. We're gonna have a little lunchtime bubble talk here. We got MJ, we got Germ. Remember, if you're on the Facebook, 94 Feet of Life, the Facebook group, and like the fan page, The Scene, THESCEN. That's we're gonna get that popping. Fellas, bubble day 3 of the playoffs as we take this. Let's just get right to it because we all know what everybody want to talk about.
And
that was Portland and LA. My thought on this has been, listen, it's one game. Until you get down 2 games in a series, you're really not in trouble. However, there are some things that are troubling from a Lakers standpoint. So, Jern, I'm gonna start this with you.
I mean,
if you were a Laker fan, the biggest thing that concerns you after game 1 was what?
The easy baskets. The way that Portland was able to break them down in the half court was sensational. And especially in the first quarter, the shot making kind of started to happen late in the game, which I think we understand Portland is a first and a fourth quarter team, as it stands right now. But I thought some of the easy baskets they were able to create off of the action from the bigs was very, very harmful. Seeing that even with AD being AD, they still have some issues with certain small things with making sure that AD, first of all, AD was not the same player around the rim because he has so much size around him. So I want to see how he adjusts there. If he don't adjust, that's going to be a problem. But besides those things, man, I just really think the easy baskets have to be limited because you already got a dude shooting for 40 feet that you just can't do nothing about. And if CJ get the boogieing on you like he was boogieing in that fourth quarter, it's going to be a long night for you again, just on the perimeter alone. So you got to find some type of way to capitalize on the middle and in the paint. And I think that was what the key thing was for me. The paint was not where the Lakers were going to dominate. And the size of Portland actually matched up better than I think even the Lakers thought that they would. So I'm going to pass it on to MJ.
Well, it's just really simple. Portland is the 3rd best team in the Western Conference, and they just happen to be the 8th seed. Unfortunately, for the rest of the league, they got healthy at the right time. If you think about it, Nurkic was supposed to miss this entire season, and in the summer he was supposed to come back this season healthy. But since there's a season this summer, he was alive and well, and we're seeing that he is really the pivotal piece in making this team special. Because you can't play him honest. You have to play him honest. If you double team Dame and he throws it to him in the middle, he's going to pick you apart, a la Jokic, a la Vucevic, a la Bam Adebayo. All of these big guys that are getting all of these props, he looks just as good as them, if not better at times, because he's more certain with his attacks. He makes his right read every time, and he finishes everything around the basket. As far as the Lakers go, what you got to understand with the Lakers is you're pretty much looking at Diet Golden State right now. And LeBron, you know that team all too well. What did it take for you to beat them? It took you a triple-double with 40-plus points. So I hate that it's the first round and you got to go in your bag early, but you're going to probably have to average about 35, 40 points a game until Vogel figures out a lineup that could be able to compete with them offensively.
I thought if I'm a Laker fan, what concerns me is the fact that despite having 2 of the 5 best players arguably in the league on the same team with LeBron and Anthony Davis, do we have enough firepower? Because what I think has proven in this bubble, the biggest thing I've noticed in this bubble, fellas, it's an offensive game.
Yep.
Like 110 points in the bubble is a bad night right now. Everybody in the bubble scoring 120, 125, 130. Now, last night, Laker Portland game was low scoring, but the point is, if AD and LeBron gonna give me 7, where these other 45, 50 points coming from?
It can't just come from catch and shoot action either.
And if it's not Kyle Kuzma, who else is it gonna be? because I just look at the thing that I've not liked about the Lakers all year. I know LeBron is the pseudo. He not the pseudo. He is the point guard. I don't like anything else they got on the perimeter. I don't like KCP. I don't like Alex Caruso. First of all, they're gonna kill Alex Caruso if they're gonna make that man pick up Dame and CJ 94 feet for 30 minutes. He gonna be dead by game 3. So the Lakers to me should still get out this series. If we're gonna swing this over to that thief in the corner. There's a thief in the corner. We're gonna swing it over to him. But I think the Lakers, this is about to be harder work than it's supposed to be. At minimum, this is gonna be a lot more difficult than it should be. And Trav jumping in, masked up. Lakers, Portland, man, you jumped in at the perfect time. What's going on? I know Trav has some smoke that he got to get off his chest. The floor is yours.
Y'all folks got to understand, man. Anybody can be beat in any given day, man. Anybody can be beat in any given day, man. We also have to understand that if you that team, if you that number one team, this road ain't gonna be easy. Y'all sit up there, y'all want Phoenix, y'all want Memphis. You got what you gonna get. You better take care of what you gonna get. I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of this. Dame is doing what he's supposed to do. CJ is doing that third quarter saved Dame's life because CJ caught on and Melo hit some shots to save the energy of Dame to hit the big time shots that he's supposed to hit. Hey man, y'all in a dog fight, man. Get ready to fight. These other little nuances of the game, as far as like y'all slacking off on Dame, that's gonna teach y'all how to hedge up now. If y'all ain't never hedged before, you're gonna hedge up now. Lakers in a dog fight, man. I got them winning it, but they in a dog fight. They got the one. So, hey, man, that's all.
Personally, I think as of right now, if I am the Lakers, I'm leaning on my championship experience on the bench because you do have it. You have J.R. Smith, even though everybody wants to talk about that one play that he messed up. It was a lot of great plays that he made in clutch situations, and he is a wild card because he can easily get you 23, 25 in a heartbeat. And he's making contested shots. He's making those back-breaking tough shots that has made his career. I'm looking at Quinn Cook right now. Quinn Cook, he can make those shots. He can play defense. He can make the right play. I will lean more on him. I mean, even if, you got him guarding 94 feet, or you just got him guarding straight up, I trust him to make those shots. As far as Danny Green goes, we've seen this already. I don't even know why people are surprised. Danny Green will have a game in which you think he doesn't deserve to be on the floor in the NBA arena. And then he will come back and break a record from 3 points made. That's just who you got. Trick or treat Danny. That's what it is. So your job is now you've lost your first game. This is where the series start. The series start now with you losing this first game. Now you have to make adjustments. Now you got to know, are you going to tighten up your rotations? Are you going to stay the same and just hope they play better? Now you got to answer those questions if you're the Lakers. And as far as Portland goes, it's time for you to continue to just build on what you got and just keep getting better every game.
And let me just say this real quick, and then I'm going to pass it to Big Shot. The one thing that I want to say is Kuzma by himself matched the bench production of the Portland Trailblazers. The difference was we had Nurkic and we had Carmelo come in and pretty much wash everything else that happened. And that was the difference in the game. If four players for Portland is the difference in the game, remember, Gary Trent didn't have a good shooting night. He hit the biggest three of the game, which was the last three that was made before Dame assists. But he was 1 for 8 for 3 or 1 for 7 from 3. These are things that are going to happen in a series. Is Gary Trent going to shoot 1 for 8 every game? No. Is KCP going to be 0 for 9 every game? No. Is Danny Green going to be 3 for 8 every game? No. Is Kuzma going to have 14 every game? No. Is LeBron going to have a tough shooting night every game? No. Is AD going to finish around the size better? Probably so. It's just getting adjusted to it because there has never been two bigs on the floor at one time that made AD's life so hard. I mean, he literally spins off of Nurkic and he has Whiteside standing there, which is a legit 7-1, standing there like this. And when he put it up, pinned you again. That happened all night. Whiteside altered every shot at the rim when he was in the game. And Nurkic did a hell of a job just playing initial defense. That is what we haven't seen from Portland. And that is the one thing that hurt the Lakers. If you're not making the outside shots, you got to make your layups to your bunnies. And they weren't making their layups in their bunnies. And this is why they lost the game, period. It's that simple. Basketball, that simple.
And then in the East, deja vu all over again. Milwaukee loses to Orlando in the first time ever, both number one seeds lose their opening playoff game in the same year. First time it happened. I'm not too worried about Milwaukee, but there are things that they do that I just think against better opposition, they will get punished for. Orlando played out of their minds. I think that was one of the nights where it's all working for us. We just got to go on. So if you're a Bucks fan, you probably should be less concerned than the Lakers. But there are things Milwaukee does that, and the matchup that Jerm talked about in the group chat, Vucevic versus Lopez is the one where you think, see, this is where this becomes a problem later on. MJ and Jerm, you can jump in whenever.
Oh my God, MJ, we got some work.
This is light work. This is easy for me.
Brook Lopez, he was Splash Mohill. You know, you could call him Splash Mountain, Splash Mohill against Vucevic. So, MJ, I'll drop it off to you. Milwaukee, going forward, what does this look like?
Well, we mentioned this earlier on why we don't trust Milwaukee, because your second and third option is Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez, I'm not going to judge him off of this game alone. I think he will play better in a couple of games, which will help them get over. All Brook Lopez has to do is just make the most of his opportunities to where he could keep everybody else honest. That's really all he has to do. That's what makes them special, because he actually has the capability of scoring 20. Like, we're not talking about a bum here. He was an all-star at one point. So we're not talking about a bum here. But what we are talking about is a guy that is wildly inconsistent, in which you can't trust him to get 20 a game. That's why he's in the role that he's in right now. But he's going to have a game of bounce back in which he has to, at least, I'm not going to say match Vucevic points. He's not going to match Vucevic. But what he can do is he can make Vucevic have to focus on him and rotate out the paint, which will keep the paint open for Giannis and for the other guards so that they can make their decisions easier. I think right now we're looking at a lot of youth. We're looking at George Hill being savvy enough to be able to navigate through, but I think the guards are just going a step too fast because it's playoffs. They're hype. They're in, another, wave lift, and what have a tendency to happen is your drives may be a little bit quicker. Those rotations close a little bit faster than what you're accustomed to. Or, that hedge actually matters a little bit more because you're not going at the pace that you're comfortable with. This is just things that I see from a guard standpoint, from a trainer standpoint. DiVincenzo moved a little too fast. A lot of the guards were just moving a little bit too fast. If they just, slow down and hoop, they'll be fine. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce Jay Ham. We're talking about the Milwaukee series in reference to pretty much what happened and why people should or should not panic. But we're just talking with it. Go ahead and chime in, bro.
What it be like, fellas? We get settled. Okay, we said we on Milwaukee and Orlando.
Yes, sir.
We don't believe them. They need more people. Just to break it down. It's like, dog, I've been trying to find like this formula rubric, however you want to call it, of like championship caliber teams, they just don't check out to me. They didn't last year. I gave them a chance. Come back this year, they win another 60 plus. Still don't get it. It's like I really don't. I know what it is, and I'm not gonna say it yet. I'm actually gonna hold it until actually they like get in real trouble. But one of it is kind of we highlighted it, last week, guard play. Iffy. You know what I'm saying? And certain ways that they try to attack Orlando was great in swarming the basketball. I was coming into the paint, Giannis driving, whoever driving, they swarming, they getting active hands, they swatting the ball out of his hand, going low, going high, then they creating opportunities going the other way. And Milwaukee has looked disengaged throughout this whole bubble process, and then they really weren't playing well before play stopped. So we get to this point, it's like I came in about midway through game one. I'm like, yo, they already getting fired up. Hey, Orlando, let's keep it moving. And there's just so much there that they have to answer tomorrow with game two. So I'm just really gonna hold off on that one. But beyond this round, which I believe they'll get out, I don't have just this good feeling about them moving much further beyond that.
Let me add this in real quick.
Go ahead real quick, Jerm. Go ahead.
Let me say this. The Vucevic matchup was the difference in the game. Vucevic got whatever he wanted off of the screen and roll action. Everything he wanted, he got. That's a problem because if Brook is going to have 8 points and Vucevic is going to have 33 points, that's too much of a gap. Brook has to give you 15 points and Vucevic has to be closer to his season average, which is about 20 points. You can't let a man go 10 points over his season average and you go 8 to 10 points under your season average and then think that matchup is going to work. The second thing and the most important thing, this is 3 things I look for guards to do. You got assists, you got points, and you got some type of action off of their live ball dribbles, right? MJ about to like this. I just came up with this on the fly. Bag is serious. Assists. DJ Augustine got assists. He had 11 or 12 assists in the game. That in itself, who had the best assist total on the actual Milwaukee Bucks team? Was it White Dante with I think like 3 or 4? That's a problem. This is off the bench, 11. Markelle Fultz has 6 assists. Then after that, we go to points. The points that the guards were able to generate were excellent, considering George Hill didn't have points. He had like 4 or 5 assists. They're not scoring enough points. They're not getting enough assists, and they're not creating enough action. Them is the 3 things that we need from guards for Milwaukee to do. Assists, points, action. Assists, points, action. If they do those 3 things, that's simple. APA, assist, points, action. Those 3 keys will be enough to help Giannis and Middleton on the wings. But Brook has to knock down some of those corner threes, some of those wing threes, and assists, points, action. APA. Boom. Go ahead, Big Shot.
I gotta run to the 9 to 5. It's like Dunkin' Donuts. Time to make the donuts. But I'm gonna leave y'all with this for today's thought. Alvin Gentry got fired when the bubble was over for the Hornets. Brett Brown is on his way today. A coach has never been fired in the middle of a playoff series that I can ever remember. But I'm gonna tell you like this: if Boston and Philadelphia play another close game today, and I see that ball for Philadelphia going through Alec Burks and Shake Milton's hand, and he don't touch the process, Brett Brown would be ejected from that bubble today. There are too many possessions, and I'm starting to really ride with Blackstock and Aaron on this. There is too many times, close games, even the game is not even, it's a Florida game, where Joel Embiid goes 4 possessions in a row with no shot. Nope. It happens.
Way too much.
Let me drive and kick the Trav real quick. I'm gonna drive and kick the Trav.
Happens again today. Brett Brown will get fired before this series over because it's too much.
It will be warranted too.
I'm going back to the Milwaukee. What's that? Milwaukee and Orlando. Brooke got some of that PG-13 kind of syndrome in him.
Oh,
They don't know about that yet, Trav.
we ain't put that in there yet. So
But we
just
will.
gonna leave it at that. We're gonna leave it at that. We don't get to them. Don't worry.
I'm just gonna leave it as that. I mean, it's no way you that gifted, but you playing this gifted. You this gifted, but you playing to the level of this gifted. To the player that matchup is not in tune to me. Him with the Vucevic. That's a good matchup. That's something there.
Yeah.
And the guard play, of course. But them young guys putting that fence up against Giannis, man, and he ain't finishing. We call this. With his challenge, he's not finishing it.
We discussed this.
We just
3 to
said-
10 feet.
We just talked about this last week. They building that fence, making him go hard left. He's spinning right. He's running into somebody else.
So
The game plan is there for Orlando. I really think the Bucks are going to take care of business like they supposed to. But that next round is going to be hurting for them.
I want
But
y'all to
again-
remember this before I pass it to Jay Ham. Reverse Napoleon complex. All right, Jay Ham.
As far as like this Milwaukee, I want to touch back on Milwaukee and Orlando real quick as well. I got to shout out to Gary Clark, James Ennis III, Terrence Ross, and Kim Birch. I ain't never heard of Kim Birch actually until they got to the bubble. But in the bubble, he's not like this high productive type dude, but he's active. He challenges, he competes. He played well against Giannis yesterday in the individual matchups. A lot of times, man, they were getting hands on the basketball. It was just all what we were talking about and how you attack Giannis on the defensive end anyway. Corral around him. He goes up. He got it here. He began to smack away from him behind him as he's going up. Cats coming from the side, smacking the ball. And his block shots, his steals is going the other way. That's what they got to keep going. Now, the cold part about it for Milwaukee is like everybody for the Bucks and their contingency, they're going to blame Chris Middleton for it. Chris Middleton is Chris Middleton. Can't really blame him for being here. But
Correct.
this is what y'all have banked on winning for y'all. Look, I ain't going to save it no more. They peaked. This is as good as this thing going to be. That's just keeping it real. If they win a championship, they win a championship. But own up whatever whatever the case may be. But I don't think they don't. I think this is what they are. What you see, what you get. This is what we got last year. We right back at it again. And it's another back-to-back 60-win team that's probably not going to make the finals. Not win a championship, not even make the finals. You seen that a decade ago.
And
Hey, I
you know,
mean, it's the lab.
absolutely. And just real quick before we go to the next team, in case MJ, because I give MJ a second here as well. I just want to say this: if Giannis gonna continue to miss bunnies when it matters the most, I don't want to hear this nonsense of him being the best player in the world. The best regular season player in the world don't mean nothing when it comes down to the playoffs. And the playoffs,
MJ
it
said-
means even more.
MJ said it last week or a couple weeks ago. He's the best player in the Eastern Conference.
I'm
And
mad at that.
even that, we make it question.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, first and foremost, you just lost to a team that I think is getting players off Indeed. I checked Indeed to see if Orlando put in, some urgently hiring. I didn't see it. Maybe it's on LinkedIn. I ain't had time to check. But you getting cats straight out of MySpace right now, and y'all are winning. So
And they
it's-
just play hungry. They just play hungry.
I mean, but once again, we're in the bubble. We already knew what this was going to be. This is Hunger Games. Guys is playing for really just their life. If you actually want to be technical about this, they're playing for their life. you know, even though the bubble so far has been an ultimate success in which there has been 0 cases in the bubble, shouts out to the NBA for being able to even create this to a point where it is more safe than the actual world. So salute to them on that. But to be able to have to leave with knowing that you don't know what your family is doing while you're gone. You don't know what your elderly folks is doing while you're gone because they're the most highest at risk. And you still have to lock in, zone in, and play a game in which we've all actually reached to the point where it's like, you know what, it's really not that important. And you got to kind of like muster yourself up to really play at the highest level for the highest trophy, for the highest advantage, being the best team in the world, and you step up. You deserve all the accolades for that. But that's
Absolutely.
why they're professionals, and that's why they get paid the big bucks. You want to talk about this reverse Napoleon complex or not? Y'all want to talk about this?
We're about to get into that 1 second. We're gonna talk about that. Hold on, because we're about to get the 2 seeds now. The 2 seeds now, perfect segue. The reverse Napoleon complex don't apply to Kyle Lowry, though. And the way that him and Van Vliet play. Let me tell you something. That's what I want to see when I want to watch basketball. I'm here for the Toronto Raptors every single game. Are y'all serious? That's basketball. Listen, I like that energy. That's what I want to see. That's all I need to say. Hey, as long as you give me Kyle Lowry, you give me Captain Kyle with baby making Van Vliet, with Pascal Siakam, it's on. Go ahead, y'all. Go.
They just took the lead. They just took the lead back too.
Yeah,
so they have back in front.
To go back to the best player in the East, yes, he is the best player in the East. To be honest,
he ain't better than Kevin Durant.
Active as far as active play.
Shouts out to Mo Schefter. It's Slim Reaper, Mo. It's Slim Reaper, Mo, not Grim Reaper. Remember that.
To be honest, when you see him and he going to work, he turned into the Grim Reaper. But I've been on that since 2019. I swear to God, Kyle Lowry has earned my vote. He plays the way I like to play. He gonna grind it out. He gonna be in your face. He's gonna take the charges. He's gonna do everything it takes to win. It's probably gonna be games he gonna be off, but you ain't gonna see it twice in a row. You ain't gonna see it 2 times in a row. The man is just playing good basketball. And I'm a very, very strong advocate of, if you're gonna give that strong criticism, you better give the strongest flowers to that person. Kyle is one of those guys that he didn't got his fair share of criticism, but now it's time to give him his flowers.
Yeah,
it's just time to give him his flowers. Win, lose, or draw, give him his flowers, man. I'm a Kyle Lowry.
Well, with Kyle Lowry, and this is something we seldom see on the NBA level because we don't really expect NBA players to be human, which is weird to me, but we don't. What we saw was a guy who just cared so much that he got in his own head. And it's actually incredible to see him get over the hump in which he could just go play ball now. Because you could tell him and DeRozan together, they really just wanted to like get over the stigmatism of them being, you know, a choke team or only a regular season team, where you could tell it affected them. Like even in the playoffs, you could tell they just did a little too much when they were together to the point where it wasn't just hooping. And they ended up getting a lot of upsets. So they ended up, you know, having a lot of not DeRozan, but Kyle Lowry had a lot of bad games because you could tell he was just trying to dig himself out, but he was in quicksand of his own mind. Now he could just play basketball, and now we get to see the best of him. Now, as far as Toronto as a whole, it was 2 plays that I saw that made me feel like they were going to return to the finals. It was plays that you will not see on the highlights. It's plays you're not going to be able to find on YouTube. It was 1.5 seconds left where Toronto missed a shot. Brooklyn got the rebound, tried to hurry up an outlet to the half court. Van Vliet tipped the ball out of bounds. So now they're taking it out. It's 1 second left. Brooklyn took the ball out, hit somebody in the corner. I don't know who it was in the corner. I think it was either Kyle Lowry or somebody ended up blocking a shot from behind for halftime. The fact that you're up 25 to 30 points and you're still not conceding anything just shows the type of mentality that you have to be a champion. And they understand who they are. They're not making any excuses. They're not saying, well, we don't got Kawhi. This is the first time ever the best player has went to another team. If we just make it, we should be good, right? They're not making any excuses. They expect to not only make it to the finals, but to repeat. And they have every reason to because the blueprint is there. They guard like nobody's business. They have a coach who is willing to pull out all stops to put his players in the best situations. They have players who don't do anything besides what they get paid to do.
This man did a triangle against the best shooting basketball team.
And didn't blink, didn't care. I'm gonna pass it to you, Aaron.
Say that again.
So they took 3 of them out of Oakland last week.
Yep.
The 3 in June. They took the 3 in June in Oakland. And then they also went to Oakland like January, February, won by like 25. With no Kawhi. My favorite part about them, being a small guard, former small guard myself, is their backcourt. It's like you can't find 2 tougher dudes. You know, I mean, it's reminiscent of Zeke and Joe D with Vinny. It's reminiscent of that in a whole lot of ways, but they're actually smaller. Because it's like, Kyle Lowry, I'm looking at him, I'm like, yeah, you listed at 6 feet, 6'1", 5'10". Fred, you don't look 5'10" since you was a freshman at Wichita, which was almost a decade or so ago. But these are 2 dudes that have been well coached through the collegiate ranks. They've been developed. They've had the battles and the wars and whatnot. And as Trav alluded to, they finally started getting their flowers. I made the meme for Kyle Lowry. I'm not even gonna say what it was, but it was pretty much like this. He didn't have this up. I got to say it verbally through the caption bubble because he took a lot of heat when they got swept by the Wizards and he was injured. Then he ran into the big, arguably one of the best 3 players of all time in his crew, running to them for 2-3 straight years. Well, why is he taking the beat and ain't nobody else beat LeBron? Y'all are of the keep the same energy contingency, right? So it's like sometimes, man, it's just the way the narratives drive the way the narratives drive the thoughts into people's minds about it, because it's like we knew it just 94 feet alike. It was like, man, they had talked about it for years, just off the record, like, dude, this poor guy. In reference to Kyle Lowry, like, he's that kind of good. But we also all understand that it's very hard when your best player, if not even one of your best players, is a small guard in this league, but it has to go in favor for you, especially on the defensive end. There's only been 4 or 3 that's been under 6'4" that's had their title of best player. You got Zeke, you got Wade, and you got Steph. Look at the job that they were able to do, those teams individually, what they were able to do defensively. Toronto got that same kind of juice. They're not as stonish as the bad boys. They're not as veteran as Miami was with Shaq and Antoine Walker and so and those guys.
Yep.
Yeah, right. It's not that, but it's more over into the modern era of what you have with Golden State, that versatility. So where guys can get out, they can extend the defense. They're getting 2 shots. They're recovering from their rotations and contesting shots with all the length that they got, and they still got these 2 little pit bulls in the front that you add up underneath you. That's just going to be pesky. So when you get to that part, it's like Milwaukee. That's championship caliber pedigree. That's what I'm talking about when I'm referring to stuff like that. How y'all get that? Can you win in the mud? Not just can you blow people out and win by 10-15, can you, when they get grimy and ugly and muddy, are you worried? Did you come to the party with white on? You know what I'm saying? That you can't get dirty. You know what I'm saying? I'm not catching that. from Milwaukee. The basketball part of it is fine, but it's like I really question their toughness when I'm like, yo, are y'all really good enough?
Hey, and this is something that I want to include in this as we go on to the other 2-7 matchup. Winning in the mud also means a muddy game is being down 10, 12 points throughout the duration of the game and coming back and taking the game by 3, 4 points. That's part of being in the mud. You don't win in the mud just saying it's a back and forth game because the mud includes getting punched in the mouth in the first 3 quarters and being able
Mud
to
has
sustain
adversity.
a run. Exactly. And that is the issue with a lot of these teams that we're going to be talking about moving forward, because the mud is not subjective to just being down 2 points for majority of the game. That means you've been facing that, you've been climbing, you've been getting hit with run after run after run, and you just keep on coming back. Kind of like what OKC did the other day as well. They were in the mud for part of that game, and they couldn't make no shots. They couldn't make shots. It was 2 1-on-1. We're gonna get to them in a minute. But that's mud. That's mud like that first quarter in Houston. That's the mud. That's the mud we talking about. It was only 48 points in that quarter. That's the mud. Considering we seeing 60-point quarters with both teams scoring 30+ points. That's not the mud. That's open court. That's what we come to see. But when the game slows down and you put the clock, hey, what did Samuel L. Jackson say in Fresh? He said, you put the clock on them. He said, I'll chew their ass up too. That's what happens. This is the playoffs. The playoffs is young Fresh Daddy. You put the clock on them, that's going to chew their ass up. And that's what's going to happen. So getting to the Clippers. We put the clock on them, folks. They started off the game up 16. Dallas just happens to be one of the best offensive teams in the National Basketball Association. They got 2 people, again, Ham, I'm in my best Jason Cunningham voice. They got 2 folks averaging 30 in the bubble. It's nothing you can do. It's nothing you can do. You can't stop a 7'1" unicorn who can shoot the tray ball better than everybody damn near on the court. You can't stop a dude who old school game, even more old school than they said James Harden game was. When it comes down to him, you ain't speeding him up, you ain't slowing him down, and he's strong enough to finish wherever he want to finish. Even with them having pit bulls on him, he still had 42. It wasn't nothing you can do, and he didn't even make no threes. He made 1 or 2 threes the whole game. He still had 42. That's different. But the Napoleon complex,
reverse Napoleon.
The reverse Napoleon complex comes from another wing player that I'm gonna let MJ introduce subject A or subject B in this case of the Napoleon complex. Professor Jenkins, take it away.
It's not a problem. Well, they laughing already because they feel like I'm gonna go in. I'm actually not gonna go in. I feel great. So before I talk about subject A, I'm gonna talk about subject Z, in which Trav brought up in Brook Lopez. So it's this thing in basketball in which if everybody played pickup, we all know in pickup, there's not necessarily positions per se, but when you pick the tallest guy on the floor, you expect him to do tall guy things. And when he doesn't do tall guy things and you lose, the first person you kind of looking at side eye is the tall guy who should have did the tall guy things. And more oftentimes than not, tall guys have a complex in which they want to be revered like the short guys as far as being known for their skill, being known for their handle, their abilities to be able to produce on the perimeter, because that's what sells. That's what sells tickets. I mean, it just looks a little bit more glamorous and it's more of an aphrodisiac when you see somebody going in a bag, you know, having movements like, you know, a ballerina or what have you, and finishing somebody off or shooting a nice 3-pointer and it's going in on net. Like how baseball used to say when Greg Maddux was pitching, he said chicks dig the long ball and they started working on their swing. It was a joke, but it was kind of true. Nobody really appreciates the fundamentals of what it takes to win. But the thing about it is you need those fundamentals. And what's happening now is, lo and behold, we had a game full of 7-footers who's trying to do 6'1" stuff, which I do not mind. However, what I do mind is when you are a 6'9" or a 7-footer who can do guard stuff, but you're still trying to do guard stuff with a guy that's 6 inches shorter than you. Now I have a problem because what you are doing right now is you are minimizing your whole advantage. So if you're a Paul George, love Paul George game. There is no way in hell, Paul George, you should be able to look at Trey Burke guarding you on the switch and you on backdoor for a lob. There is no way in hell you see Seth Curry on you and you're calling for a screen to get a bigger guy on you so you can drive to the basket. These small things are things that we look at that he might not even have to pay for because his team is so deep and his team complements him so well that he probably don't even have to pay for it because they got multiple dudes who love that smoke. Kawhi Leonard, contrary to Paul George, he loves getting to the mid-range. He loves getting to the basket. He loves trying to draw the foul and getting other teams in foul trouble and making his free throws. Lou Williams loved the mid-range game, loves getting to the basket. I've seen Pat Beverly cut and catch a dime from Kawhi Leonard and go up strong for a layup like he could dunk off Vert or something. So they got the mentality players who loves the paint and loves doing those things. Hold on 1 second. They have those guys. So with those guys that they have, what you got to understand is it actually complements Paul perfectly. But just from a standpoint of being a hooper, you being 6'9" and 6'10" and allowing yourself to be guarded by a 6'3" guy and still trying to do the guard stuff, I don't know. You guys chime in and let me know if I'm reaching or not, because some people are like, yo, as long as they get it done, they get it done, and I get that too. But I'm looking at what happens when you play the Lakers and nobody else could get in that paint but you. What happens if you have the mismatch? Are you still going to be a catch-and-shoot three-pointer? Like, I've seen you in other playoff games. Yeah, because I've seen you in other playoff games in which you supposedly had the mismatch. When you was with OKC, when they went against Utah, you're better than Joe Ingles. But Joe Ingles played you, like, even and was talking to you the whole time. Like, this is where I have to look at you and be like, yo, if you're 2-3 times better than him, why aren't you punishing him?
That's like making your advantage a disadvantage. You disservicing yourself as a hooper.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
You disservicing yourself as a hooper. You 6'8", 6'9", but you got a 6'3" dude, man. Man, you ain't got it. I mean, in today's age, not too many bigs are going on their block like that. But get in that 15-foot range. Put them on their block a little bit. Put them on there. Don't disservice your ability at the advantage be a disadvantage because you want to play more of a guard-oriented type of style. Brook Lopez, oh my God, I don't know where that came from, but they got him. It ain't no even D guy because you know how you do 3 and D. It's just 3. He gonna either stand in that top corner or that bottom corner, and he gonna shoot it. He had that one game where he shot off for like 7 trays, and he been shooting it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have an obvious advantage, use it.
He 3FH, Trav. He's 3FH. 3 fadeaway hook shot.
Fadeaway and hook shot. And he shot like a on floater by accident because dude reached in, he spent, and he right what so happened at the goal. That was a floater. That was by accident. That wasn't no boo. That was by accident. But you can't disservice yourself being that height and that size and playing. You 6'8", 6'9", but you playing 6'2" or 6'3".
And I'm not even saying that you have to change your game. Like with Paul George, I'm not even saying I want you to change your game. If you don't like posting up, don't post up. I never said one time you should post up. What I am saying is, why do you only have 4 rebounds with these dudes guarding you?
Man, take advantage. Take advantage of what you got.
Why haven't you caught an alley-oop yet, or at least caught a lob in which you could just put it in? Because they can't do anything up there. I've seen Seth Curry jump. I've seen you jump too.
You know what's funny about all this? you bring it back to the fan standpoint, this is what they actually ask for. They want you to do
Yeah.
this hard way. Because it's like it's giving more respect, but it's like, yo, the bottom line is to win, chief. It's like, and so as y'all saying this, and it's like, as we got into the reverse Napoleon part, and we started breaking it down, and when we got to Paul, Brook Lopez, Paul George in that order, it's like, why can't be like, Durant had it too easy. You're supposed to have it easier.
When you
Man,
got that
man,
size,
what?
when you got that size, yes.
You know, if you don't
Hey,
believe me that you're supposed to have it easier, go watch T-Mac on All the Smoke. He gonna let
Hey.
you know.
And I'm gonna tell you like where that come from. And I'm gonna tell you where that come from because we gotta address that too. Because there's a lot of people who have not played beyond high school and have not played beyond college. High school and college, all of the coaches teach you to work hard, work hard, work hard. It almost is a penalty if you make things look too easy at that level because they're going to depict you as being lazy or not being a great defender because it doesn't look the part. There's this unspoken rule at the high school and college level called the look test. Yeah, you could be winning every sprint, but if you ain't sweating or if you ain't looking like you busting your tail, they gonna think that you got more to give when in actuality, the whole point of it to make the game easy. Now, when we get to the NBA, all of those guys who make it look easy, that's where they make their living. That's why it's so hard to be able to evaluate some guys in college. When you look at that one guy who averaged 10 points a game in college and he goes on to average 24, and you look at that other guy who averaged 29 in college and he's in China right now, that's why. Two different games.
Hey, and you know what? These because we're gonna move on to the 3 and the 6 seed in a set here, coming up here in a second. But I just don't like what frustrates me the most about Paul George is it's too much ball handling, and he can just make one move, one between the legs, left or right drive. It don't have to be behind the back, 2 dribbles here, 2 dribbles here. We don't have to do all of that because even the small guards with him having such long arms are not just gonna come up and just take them. Because a lot of the small guards are not going to get up into Paul George because he does an exceptional job of just turning his body a little to the left or a little to the right with either when he's dribbling with either hand to use his body that way. So why not use our body also to score? We can use it to protect the rock, but we can't use it to score. That don't make no sense to me. If I get you on my back, that's it. It ain't no coming around. It ain't no collecting $200. Ain't no pass and go. You're gonna get this Shaq bowl, and I'm gonna put the ball up on the rim. And that's just what's gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's just this is just the life. This is the life that I was given. So I have to understand Mark Jackson made a living of that at the point guard position. You listen, let me tell you what one of my old basketball coaches said. And his words, he said, I can't handle the ball. He said, but you was gonna ride this ass down the court. That's what he said.
DP.
That's what he said. Now, MJ.
Twist.
MJ. Hey, now, MJ, can we be mad at him for saying that? We can be mad at the verbiage.
Back in the day, there was no such thing as pause. So
exactly. So
they said a lot of stuff.
So look.
Oh, don't even get me started on some of the stuff I heard back in the day.
So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead. We'll go to the 3-6 matchups. Let's start with Denver and Utah. First of all, everything we talked about in this matchup again was right there. I said, Spider hasn't played well for most of this bubble. I said, but if he makes his jumpers, the game is going to be different. It's going to be a lot easier for him to get to his spots. A lot easier for him to get to the rim. All of that happened. We talked about Joker and we talked about Murray. MJ alluded to Murray and Jokic specifically. My guy says specifically. He said the problem with the playmaking big is XYZ. This is where Jamal Murray comes in. So in overtime, Jamal Murray came in. And in overtime, that man was spraying. He was shooting that cover off that rock. MJ, I'm gonna pat. That's my segue right to you. Go ahead, shoot it, Lucky Lefty. Lucky Lefty, go ahead.
Hey, you know, like I said, the words of the great philosopher: "Shoot your shot, player." You know I'm gonna shoot it. I ain't never stopped shooting. I'm shooting right now. But no, the thing about Denver is, And I hate to, compare old school to new school basketball, but they remind me a lot of the 2003, 2002 Sacramento Kings. Like, damn near verbatim. Your best player is a big who can get the 20, 10, and 5, or even a triple-double. But when the game gets close, he's more along the lines of relying on his playmaking as opposed to relying on actually trying to score. And you have a guard who is more of a shooting guard, but he's running point because he has the handle and the savvy mentally to be able to still make plays and keep everybody involved. But he's looking to score the ball in the clutch. Bibby, Jamal Murray. Then you have two talented wings that you really don't have any answer for real, but they're almost self-checked to a certain extent. Peja Stojakovic, Michael Porter Jr. I actually will rather compare Michael Porter Jr. to Hedo because Hedo was very young when he started playing that game, and he was also self-checked. So as you can see the easy comparisons. And also, last but very much not least, you had, a suspect shooting guard in which it's like you really kind of didn't know what you was going to get. You just hope they D'd up. No offense to Craig because he wasn't supposed to start in that position. Gary Harris was. But you pretty much, got that situation in which you just hope that he makes his three and makes it tough on the other guard. So you got all of this going on. And what I'm worried about is you have a stone cold killer over in Utah with defense. I can almost guarantee that Donovan Mitchell is going to probably have a 4 for 19 game this series. What I can guarantee, though, is he's not going to shoot less than 19 shots. And what a lot of people got to understand is this is called the Iowa pass. They actually called it the Kobe assist after a while because nobody knew what the Iowa pass is. Here's some education for you guys. So back in the day, I forgot what year, Iowa had this very finesse big man in a game where the big man was really like aggressive and, you wanted to post up. The big man's game just wasn't that. So what they did was they realized that the big man for Iowa wasn't strong enough to post up and everybody could easily front them. So what the guards started doing is the guards started shooting the air balls and hitting off the backboard on purpose, and he'd just get the rebound and put it back in. And now it's like you looking at it and it's just like now you have to guard behind him because you don't want him to get that easy putback. Henceforth, the Iowa pass. So they started eventually guarding him behind, and then he used his skill set to eat from there. What Donovan Mitchell do is, as long as he's aggressive for his shot, I hate when he tries to pass the ball because I know it's a turnover. That's just not his game. When he's coming off the screen and roll or he's trying to kick it to the opposite corner or he's going full speed trying to make a play on the pass, it's a turnover every time. That's just not him. But if he shoots it, even if he misses it, guess what? You got a 7-2 boy in there that don't even want the ball. He just wants the offensive board to tip in. He can't wait to tip it in. He can't wait to get that rebound and put it back in. And even if he don't put it back in, he's going to kick it out to Ingles. He's going to kick it out to other people, and your offense still is good. So with those 7 to 8 turnovers that Donovan Mitchell had, imagine if those were just shots. Imagine he just shot it. Now it's either going to go in or it's going to be an offensive board. Because I don't know the stats in front of me, but I can guarantee you if you look at the offensive rebounding margin, I'm pretty sure Utah had that, which is what kept them in the game because right now they don't even have Mike Conley. That game shouldn't even went to overtime. So imagine when they have Mike Conley, a point guard who's not going to turn it over.
First, Mike Conley making babies. He either making babies or he have.
That's that quarantine.
Let me just say this real quick too. The biggest thing that I'm looking at with this situation right now is the fact that we break down history like that just to give people the understanding of exactly what we're talking about. You ain't gonna find that content nowhere else in the world. I just got to make sure we put that plug in there.
No,
It's the scene, baby. We don't do this. This don't go down on ESPN, FS1, nowhere else. This is somewhere else. This is somewhere else. We don't do all that other. This is the stuff that we talk about when we say if we don't talk about it, we're gonna talk about it. We talked about extensively these things, and then here he comes with this with Mr. Iowa. See this right here. I quit.
Hey, it gets mean at the scene, man. It gets mean at the scene.
Mean on the scene, man. That's what it is.
Hey, man.
So Trav, go ahead. I'm gonna get you in, then we're gonna get Jay in, and then we're gonna go to the other one. which is which is free
Yeah, Boston,
free
Philly.
process.
Mic check. I'm good. I'm good.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
good.
you are.
Yes, sir. Check this out, man. I called this one. I really did say this because we had the dispute of who we would trust at either the guard or the center, which is both of those are the best players on each team. But I know we talked about Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray may not be on that first, second, third quarter, but that fourth quarter, when it was up to him and Jokic to perform, you seen them at raw form. You seen them at raw form with that dribble handoff, and Murray would start getting jiggy with it. He probably missed number one shot that last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and then overtime. He probably missed one shot. Missed one shot. Dude is a force to be reckoned with. I know somebody in these 4 squares did say that he may turn that rock over. It may even happen today. It may even happen tomorrow. But when he's on, he's on.
Nothing you can do about it. It's
There's
nothing you can do.
about it.
He put 50 on Kyrie. He put 50 on Kyrie and had Kyrie saw that he was still shooting at the end of the game when the game was over.
Man, it don't even matter at that point. It's just the fact that in these playoffs, last 2 minutes of the game or last 4 minutes of the game, you're going to see that combo and you're going to get a sturdy diet of it.
Oh, yeah.
Can't do nothing with it. You can't do nothing with it, honestly. You have to have the right combination of people. Number one, we talked about it, the same thing with Dame. The same thing with Dame and with Nurkic is the same thing that you got with this dynamic. You got to hedge it. You got to trap it. You got to have somebody on the backside come up and step up in the middle. You got to do, it's a team defense, and you're going to scramble. And you're going to do that for the last 3 minutes of the game, and you can't get tired, Chief.
And you know
you
what?
Get tired, it's over with.
You know what about that? That is their meat and potatoes. That's their main offense. That's their base offensive set.
Mm-hmm.
It's rolling off Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
That dribble handoff. Him and Harris, but it's mainly him and Murray. It's mainly him and Murray. That's the base of their offense.
It's possible for Utah to be able to make this thing muddy because I don't think they can score with them.
I don't think so.
They can't. That's the problem. That's the problem. If it came down to it, Utah had to finish it in regulation. That's what happened. You have to finish it in regulation. You're not going if let's just say Spider give them another 50-point game. They're gonna have an opportunity to win. But here's the problem. His jumper is too inconsistent for me to say he's gonna for sure do it again. And then number two, Denver's gonna change up the coverage a little bit. They're gonna change a couple of things because you can't afford to let him get 50 and then let Captain Conley get 20. Because remember, that 20 was missing. And that means Conley gonna be one of them people shooting some of them open jumpers, and he has much better rhythm with Conley off of some of that pick and roll action with Conley in the corners and on the wing. So I think overall Denver just gonna change the coverage up a little bit, but I think this is where they miss a guy like Gary Harris. Say what you want about Gary Harris, Tom Izzo kid. Gary Harris is a very, very underrated defender off the pick and roll, especially being able to stay engaged and attached to those players, especially the smaller guards that you see in the Western Conference. And then also you can't leave him in that corner because he will make you pay. And it could get 25, 27 points, just 9 threes is in the possibility for him. So I think overall, this is where they miss him, but this is where Torrey Craig's bigger body is going to have to be a bigger factor. Torrey Craig is going to have to put his body into Young Spider. He's going to have to really contest and really challenge a lot of him, physically challenge him. Not just shot fakes, not crazy fouls, physically bumping him off his spots, the little nuances, because remember, Donovan Mitchell is not 6'3". He's still a small guard. So you got to use the AI formula is kind of what I'm looking at. And the comparison I said was Ben Gordon without a jumper.
And let's make a couple things clear too. Right now, Utah is like far from healthy right now. If we put in Bogdanovich and Mike Conley, will get real interesting quickly, right? But I mean, we obviously, if it was a fifth, we'll all be faded. But with the Mike Conley thing, it's going to be key getting him back. He needs to be back by game 4 because what wasn't anticipated in my pick was Mike Conley not being there. That changes the dynamic, obviously, because what was the reason why Utah lost? Because of turnovers. Denver never stopped Utah. Utah stopped themselves, which means when I look at a team that's turning the ball over like a pancake like that, the first thing I look at is who's the point guard. Well, your point guard is taking care of his son right now outside of quarantine. And I think the next best idea would be Joe Ingles facilitating. I think you can't speed him up. He's been playing this game long enough in Australia and now to where he knows how to run the pick and roll. He's a very underrated playmaker, and it allows Donovan Mitchell to do what he does best. But Donovan Mitchell also is great off the pick and roll. He's just not great making a decision when it comes to passing. When he goes off the pick and roll, he needs to be like Tony Parker and just look to score it. So those are the things that they're going to have to change to make this series until Mike Conley comes back. I mean, there's no excuse. They still have enough to make it competitive, obviously, but I don't expect Donovan Mitchell to have to score 50 a night for them to compete. What I do expect is for Joe Ingles to be the playmaker in which Donovan will get his 25-30, but now with Joe Ingles as a playmaker, now Jordan Clarkson might get 21.
Correct. That's what they needed. That's what they need. That's
He only had 14 that game. Remember, I told you if he averaged 20, what would happen?
They were going to win.
They're going to win.
Hey, if he get
only
that
had 14.
20, if he
Twin
had,
fives, Donovan Mitchell's.
hey, I'm gonna give you something real funny. MJ, if he scored one more point, because I don't think he scored in the overtime. If he scored one more point, they win the game. I just want to put that out there. Again, these are things we discussed. We ain't trying to just honk.
We're efficient. We don't miss much.
That's why they can't score with them people, man. It's gonna take 58 regulation, and he was like fully in his luggage. He had a bag thing over there. He had the big joint. He needed a baggage claim, baggage check. From like the second quarter going, he had 2 points in the first quarter. Second quarter going forward, dude was just in his bags. I'm like, oh, and it's still needed OT for Denver. And then this is also the second time when Denver needed OT with them, like in the last 8-9 days. So it's like, is this chess match going to roll over to something different, or is this just what we going to get?
Defense versus offense. This is what you get when you get those chess matches.
Yeah.
This is what we're getting. So moving on to the next series. We got the paint versus the perimeter. The paint versus the perimeter. Everything about Boston is on the perimeter. I'm not saying that Canner and them is trash. I'm just saying they serviceable. They play their role. Canner is necessary for Boston. He's actually the perfect player to come off the bench for Boston. And I know all y'all know when I say perfect player, he gonna get offensive rebounds. He gonna play defense a little bit in the pick and roll. He ain't gonna hedge much, but he gonna play enough, and he gonna put his body on people. That's all you want him to do. Rebound and finish around the rim. That's all you need him to do. At this stage, Jaylen Brown has exceeded my expectations as a player. And Jason Tatum got a baggage claim, luggage, like my guy Jay Ham just said. It's just not very much you can do with them. But the problem is, it's a dude that's in Philly, number 21. That's the process that can't nobody on this earth check if he decide he want to play basketball. It don't matter who it is. You can bring Kareem. Shout out to Kareem. Shout out to Wilt. It ain't nothing nobody can do with Joel. Because them feet is incredible. Those feet are some of the best feet we've ever seen. I'm just going to leave it at that, and I'm going to pass it to MJ because I know MJ got some stuff for us. Go ahead, brother.
All right, man. So I'm going to pass this to Ham after this. I ain't going to be long on this one. Ronnie pretty much covered what I needed to be covered. If you wasn't here when Ronnie spoke, he pretty much just said Brent Brown might need to be fired during the playoff series if he doesn't get the ball to Embiid. I mean, with Philadelphia, this is really checkers. Nobody should touch the ball or even take a shot until Embiid touches it first. That's just where we're at right now. As far as Boston goes, I think losing Hayward is not going to be as bad as people think because it just leaves room for other guys to step up. I think people really underestimate how deep Boston is. I think they have too many people sometimes on their bench, but you don't know about them because they can't play because their squad is so solid. How are you going to get them on? So Anis Cantor playing more minutes is going to work in their favor because he's a beast on the offensive rebounds, which could possibly tire out Joel Embiid because he has to worry about blocking him out every possession. I think on the flip side, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum needs to touch the ball every possession, just like Embiid does. They're just a better team when they're running the offense through those two guys, preferably Jason Tatum. And with Jaylen Brown being a secondary option in which he wins his one-on-one matchup because he can score on all three levels. He gets downhill. He's athletic enough to finish around the basket. He's smart enough to know how to draw a foul, and he makes his free throws. Kemba Walker, this is not a knock on him or a slight on him, but I think Kemba Walker being a third option is what makes them a championship caliber team. Not because Kemba's not good, but because that changes the game. There's nobody really that can stop Kemba. So if Kemba is getting the ball as a third option off of the hockey assist on the swing, and you have to run out and close him out, he already can't be checked anyway. Or you got to run out and worry about a pick and roll off of a reverse with Kemba Walker and Anis Cantor, or with Kemba Walker and Daniel Theis. Like, that's a lot to worry about. So I think they have so many pieces that it's really simple for them to try to make this an equal opportunistic offense. But I have to remind people the statistics that we gave them earlier. During the regular season, when Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart took a combined total of 27 shots, which is the exact same amount of shots that Jaylen Brown and Tatum was taking, they were pretty much a four seed. That's why they're a 4 seed right now. The last few games where they just pretty much simplified the offense and went through Jason Tatum and went through Jaylen Brown, as you can see, the offense is much more efficient, and you give these guys an opportunity to blossom into what you're pretty much going to pay them to be anyway. So Boston continues to play like this, and they continue to run that offense through them. I got them in the finals.
Go ahead, Ham.
This if Boston get out into the it ain't got nothing for it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, the Philadelphia thing, which a lot to be repaired, a lot to be changed up, new direction, new culture that needs to be put down. It can't last in the house. You shorter than your lifespan in the playoffs like that is shorter than the McRib. Very limited time. That's a nasty ass barbecue salad. Shout out to Tyrell Love. He loves McRib. But I ain't got nothing for it, man. It's just like, MJ pretty much covered it. When we talked about who's the number one option in Boston a couple of weeks ago, that was a simplified answer enough for this whole series. Especially with what you have going on with Philly. You lose Ben. I don't know what's going on with Brett Brown, but I'm gonna give. And it's just, it makes it hard for me to even talk about, because I don't want to talk about the lame ducks. I want to talk about that. There's going to be a career and there's going to be a round. And Boston and 5 on that one, man. And they see Toronto that next round. Chess match. I like that. I like that matchup. I like the coaches. I like the personnel involved. I leave me willing to skip ahead and let's talk about Boston and Toronto. You know what I'm saying? But Boston getting out of this one at 5, man. We can rock on to the next one.
Yes. Now, Trav, I'm gonna let you get in here. I'm gonna say one thing, and then we're gonna go to the 4-5s, and then we actually got one question from the 94 Feet of Life group that I'm gonna incorporate in the show today, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Okay.
You know what? We're gonna use a little technology today. We used it the last time we was here. We're gonna use it this time. Jern, if you shall do so, do a screen share on Marcus Smart and what he did yesterday, as far as shot attempts.
know where this is going.
I put this up as well.
In that particular game, game 1. I just want to see something real quick.
I got you. Internet trying to act like it don't want to do what I wanted to do. That's all.
Just as temperamental as people, you know that, and you know what's undefeated. That and Father Time.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
All right. So this is playoff totals. We got
Is
one
this-
game. We got 32 minutes.
Game 1? Is
Yes.
this game 1?
Yep, just one game. So we can go literally right off of this.
Okay.
We got 32 minutes.
Okay.
Through 0 field goals, only 5 attempts. 3 of them was threes. 2 of them was twos. He made 2 free throws. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 turnover, and 1 personal foul.
And I'm gonna ask you something. They beat Philly by what?
Here, let me.
They beat them by what? 4, 5, something like that.
Let's look. Let's see.
Oh, man.
Plus 8.
They beat them by 8. Keep it that way. Keep it that way, boss. It don't even matter if Gordon Hayward is not there. Keep it that way. Because the simple fact that you got a player that knows his role. Now, Gordon Hayward is not going to be there. You know them shots. You know that's what? That's 11 shots. That's 11 more shots for whoever.
No, not for whoever. 5 to Jay Tatum. No, 6 to Tatum, 5 to Brown. There ain't no whoever.
It should, but we know it's going to be whoever, but we know where they're supposed to go to.
Right.
5 and 6. 5 and 6. 13. Hey, you know, do the math. 7, 6. Those shots belong to them. Marcus Smart, stay involved. Put your energy in the game. If you got to get on the floor, get on the floor. If you're going to take the charges, take the charges. Hit your layups if you're going to get on the drive. If you get a good screen and roll going and you're feeling good about yourself, take your shot. But don't get out of character. Philly,
I'm saying, no, don't take your shot. Drive to the basket. You don't miss free throws. You shoot 85% from the free throw line. Why are you even thinking about shooting outside? You strong as nails. Go to the basket.
get there.
Draw the foul. If you don't get fouls, you're going to finish it because you lift weights and you strong as an ox. There is no reason why you should shoot anything.
Know your role.
I
Know
don't,
your role.
MJ.
Don't shoot nothing else
Now y'all
but a
see
free throw.
Now y'all see how I feel about it.
No, because you was being nice. I'm sorry. I was trying to tiptoe around it. You the one who brought this up. You brought this smoke.
Hey, they need it. They need it from you. They need it.
I can't say nothing.
Dude, he 0 for 5. Out of those 5, 3 of those were threes. Why are we taking those 3 shots?
Get to the rack, man.
Why?
Get to the rack.
He on the Russell Westbrook diet.
Dog,
No jumpers.
look. The only time he should shoot threes is a shot clock going down. I'm dead serious.
That's it.
The only time.
That's it. That's it. Get there. Get there. Get there.
Get to the basket, bruh.
It just ain't it. It ain't it for Philly though, man. It's just not. It's just not it.
That's why I picked Toronto though, Trav. Because he ain't gonna act right. That's why I picked Toronto. Because he ain't gonna act right. He not.
Being
He crazy. Like,
hey,
Yo, this
it
dude,
is, but hey,
MJ, man. Oh, man.
it's just
hey, you know what Toronto gonna do? Toronto ain't gonna even close them out. They can't wait for him to shoot that shit.
Shoot that.
Like, everybody gonna get closed out but him.
Chris Paul,
They'll rotate everybody but him. Watch.
let him shoot that shit.
Oh my goodness.
Let him shoot it.
Man, this man got me in tears, man.
Let him shoot it. Let him
It's Trav
shoot it.
fault, man. I swear I was cool up until that point. He had to tell him to bring the stats up. Because, you know, I was behind the scenes, for those who don't know, behind the scenes, we have a messaging group for Scene in which we talk basketball all the time. What you're seeing is literally just the message group to life with no pictures and no video. This is really what it is.
This is what it is.
I remember bringing this. To them because I was talking on the phone with my guy George. Shout out to George Williams, because he was shocked at the fact that I called out Brad Stevens. He was like, "How could you call out Brad Stevens?" I'm like, "I know everybody think he's a genius. He's everybody's golden boy." I was like, "But it's the coach's fault why this dude think he could shoot 11 shots and 8 of them be from the perimeter and he's only shooting 33%. That's coaching."
Well, now that we got that out the way,
Okay, I'm sorry.
no, you okay? You're all right.
Philly just got to get it together, man.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mine's got to get it
I'll be
together.
honest with
man.
you. For Philly to lose by 8 and Joel Embiid to have the game he had and to still be 2 or 3 touches away from being able to really put his stamp on the game, this is why I picked Philly to potentially win the series, because we don't know with Hayward gonna be out now, and with us doing that, I didn't even bring up Marcus Smart, but you see how you just simply said he not gonna act right. He don't act right, and then we all know Jason Tatum is good. Jason Tatum is good for 2-3 games in a series where you just like, why are you not being assertive? Why are you not initiating the offense? Why are you not making these plays? And then Jaylen Brown got 3-4 games in a series where you say, if you do that hesitation crossover move one more time, I'm gonna take the ball from you, and
I tell you what, John. If you're going to pick Philly, I'm picking Boston. Whoever loses this series got to turn their page to their fan page.
I'm not taking that bet for either one of y'all. And I'm gonna say this too. And it hasn't been mentioned, and it's only right for us saying to be able to mention this, because I hate when a basketball player don't get the credit that he deserves. Tobias Harris has been amazing, all things considered. He has been consistently amazing, all things considered, on both ends of the floor. He doesn't get enough credit that he deserves. I actually think he's a legit second option against this team, in which if Embiid ain't gonna shoot, Tobias should shoot. It's not really hard. Like, seriously, like I just can't understand why people are I don't even want the guards to break the ball up for Philly. Like, Shake Milton looks shaky. I'm not, no pun intended. He really looks shaky bringing it up. Like, I don't trust anything about the guards except for being able to catch a shoot. Josh Richardson had a moment, but I don't trust him bringing the ball up either. Like, I actually want Tobias to bring it up.
The first, second, and third option should be Embiid, Tobias, and Horford. That's it.
No.
It should be Embiid, and Tobias.
I gotta put Horford there, but
I'm mad that we said it at the same time, though.
No, Embiid is the first and second option. I mean, I rock with Horford. Horford's gonna be fine, but it's like with Horford, what I need for Horford to do that's going to make this series interesting. Horford, I don't want him like taking shots. I want him killing the glass. The one thing that people didn't see before Hayward got hurt was Horford stayed in front of Hayward on defense. And then on offense, he punished him in the paint. Like, it was one play, he got a rebound, he put it in, and he just screamed like a gorilla. I need that Horford the whole game, though. I need him the whole game. Don't even worry about, your jump shot. Don't even worry about none of that. I need you to just go ahead and punch the time clock right in that paint.
So, and they go back to Jason Tatum, man. You know what I'm saying? It went back to the question that MJ asked about him last week, in regards to who's the number one option for the Celtics. What worries me about Tatum, it's a little Rudy Gay in there. Where you know that the skill is there, but it's like, it's not assertive all the time. And this goes back to Duke, because he even admitted this. He talked about this on the Knuckleheads episode when he was on with Kyrie. Coach K came in and was like, yo, you playing like pussy. So when you have to, and it's constant now, this was what he came into the league, what, 2017, this is third year. We're looking up 3 years later, we still have these times when we ask these questions like, why you not going, bro? Why you not attacking? Why you being so passive? That part worries me about him because he got the goods. He got the goods to be like real deal. He's had it all. He's had it all NBA season this year. I think he'll finish on one of the 3 all NBA teams. That worries me going not just for this series, but as you get to the latter parts. Irony of it, that game 7 that they was in against Cleveland a couple years ago, he was the only one that was looked on. Only one that brought. So it's like it's a bipolarity there of some sort, whether it's grand, small, whatever the case, but you check him. I don't know how you pull it out of him full time, whatever the case may be, but that's a concern with, for me. I'm a fan of the Duke. Yeah, I'm a Duke fan. But I know he got it, but I worry about it.
Mo asked, he said, so from what I've been reading and hearing from y'all, he said it seems as y'all putting a lot more emphasis on coaching this year prior to other years. True or false?
No, me personally, I'm gonna keep it 100%. I get on coaching when it's need to be. I'm not gonna do it when it's need to be. In Philly's situation, could it be coaching? Yes. But I'm gonna tell you like this: the game could be so much easier when your players are out there and they know what they're doing. Because in most situations, when your point guard is in the field of the game, they know the feel of the game. The coach shouldn't have to tell them where the mismatch is at. It's just the feel of the game. Philly doesn't have a good feel of the game as far as player-wise. Because, let me put it to you like this. Why in the hell am I having Ben Simmons do an entry pass to Embiid? He's passing the ball from the three-point line. I'm playing him 15 feet. So I'm actually double teaming a player you want to go to the pass. Ben got to know this. With Ben knowing this, hey, let me just get somebody else to pass the ball in. They're going to double off me. Let me get to the basket. That's just basketball 101 on here. That has nothing to do with coaching. Now, what does deal with coaching is like if you're on like 18-3 run, you don't call no timeout. You trying to Phil Jackson your way through this shit. That's coaching. That's coaching.
And let me say this, because Trav has been blessed to have one of the best coaches this game has ever seen, in which he most of the time pushes all the right buttons and never swings and miss. So on the contrary of Trav, I'm going to say it's true for this reason and this reason only. The talent level is closer than what we have ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
This is what an NBA coach's job is. The NBA coach's job is to influence 10 possessions. 10. That's their job. Both sides have the control to influence 10 possessions, which means most of the games that you see where somebody lose by 9 points or less, usually we could go back to the coach and point out like, man, you probably could have did this one different or this one different. Notice I didn't say the 20-point gap, because in order for it to be a 20-point game or over, that means one coach went 0 for 10 on decision-making and the other coach went 10 for 10 on decision-making, which never happens at the NBA level, ever. Usually a 20-point game is because you got your ass busted. That was all the players. Players wasn't missing and the other team didn't show up, and that's when we talk about the whole make or miss league thing. But when those tight games come, that's where the coaches make their money. 10 possessions. They got 10 possessions to be able to influence or dictate an offensive or a defensive move to go in their favor. That's the difference. And the players got to execute. That's not on the coaches either.
There you go. So, and that's why and I can give a valid illustration of Houston. Houston has been very infamous of blowing a 20-point lead. I've seen it plenty of times. But at the same time, how can you be up 25 and lose a game by 5, yet blame a coach at the same time? At a certain point, it's up to the players to execute, or just instead of shooting the ball out of control to where you start getting walked down, you should know at this point, I need to attack the basket, make a shot easier, get fouled, get something going in the basket. So coaching, I mean, I see exactly what you're saying, but a lot of these things, the players got a whole lot to do with it. But like you said, the talent standpoint, the coach have to put his stamp in the game at this point. And I can see it in Philadelphia way, because you got one player which is so dominant when he want to be. You have another player that's good, but after that, you gotta influence these players to do what they're supposed to do. So,
Fine line, right in the middle, because both of y'all just said nothing wrong. Like all spot on, is all true. But I think it varies per situation, per team, per situation, per, everything that's going on. Because you can have this happen in the regular season, and that's one thing. But when it gets, and just when I thought about it, it was like, Travis, like you was up 25, but you lose by 5. That took me, being an Indian, that took me back to the 12 first round opening game 1 with Clippers. Something like 25-30. You went down by Nick Young. Yeah. You got one of the best defensive teams in the league. And steady playing point guard, you got an all-star on the block with Zach. You got a blooming all-star, all-NBA performer at that point on. You got out-coached by Benny Del Negro in the last 17, 18 minutes. Because it was just methodical. Because Chris Paul didn't panic, no Clipper panic. Chris was like, "Get it, we could. We gonna get back in this. Don't worry about it. Get back in it." Then you had that variety of when you're coached back in it. When sometimes your coaches also have to know what they got. And this was Steve. Steve Kerr is great at this because he like, look, let me get y'all figure it out. Ain't all the time now. They got to pull you out for a few minutes and then put y'all back in, whatever. But y'all gonna figure this out. Oklahoma City that January, February night, 2016, when they were down 15-20, Steph froze his ankle. They figured it out after Steph froze his ankle. They walked that Pippen down. They took that Pippen to overtime. Steph went one from about 47. Your coaches really have to know what they have. That's the key part about the pushing the buttons in general. You got to know who you can fuss at. You got to know you can be like, just put your arm around it. That still applies even at pro level.
Yeah.
Because we still dealing with human beings. People are triggered, wired for just, triggered and wired for shit different. And it comes into play in that heat of the moment. You know what I'm saying? With the game on the line, regular season or play. Don't matter because the object for everybody out there is to go win. That's what everybody out there trying to do. So it's just, it can get tight, but when it runs out on that coach and then culture starts to sour like what I think we see in Philadelphia, it's hard to recover from it. Now, winning cures all and soothes a whole lot. So getting the win today, that can help cure their culture a little bit going into game 3, game 4, going forward. But it don't take long to get back to a team to get back into that funk after they got out of it. Because you go back. Trey, what happened when you revert back to bad habits?
you get your ass kicked, and that's the pattern. The pattern is not the establishing of the offense or the establishing of the defense. If you revert to bad habits, you're gonna get your ass kicked, and that's the pattern. Can that be blamed on the coach? Yes. Can that be blamed on the players? Yes. Can it be blamed on
Both
the
of them can take the blame. Y'all
Yes.
got jump
That's where
help.
it's at. It's the team.
Yeah.
It's not just one person. It's the team. The team got to make a fixture of something to stop reverting to bad habits.
And there we have it. So real quick, Blackstock is going crazy in the comments right now. But a lot of things that he got to say right now is pertaining to Brett Brown. I'm not going to kill Brett Brown totally because I just think Philly as a whole is just a team that's just been slapped together. I think the general manager plays a part in this as well. I think some of the pieces just don't fit. And I think ultimately what you have to do is you have to strip the team down to the core. You need a core 4 or 5 players, and you got to build from there. If you take that stage,
give y'all a pop
everything else
quiz.
is simple. I mean,
Let me give you a pop quiz.
Wasting too much time on these folks.
Let me give you a pop quiz, and it actually reversed the football too. What's the number one thing in an organization that has to be good in order to start a good organization? It's the what?
It has to be the general manager.
Culture.
Culture, baby.
Well, the general manager says the culture. So
General manager starts off with the culture. The culture is the main thing. That culture's so bad, that damn little point guard wanted to whoop and beat ass.
The culture is where the Clippers are, where they are. Loaded like they loaded, battling through, getting, but they still there. And they gonna be
why everybody's a good fit to go to Golden State? Because of the culture.
Hey, but you also gotta pay attention to the fact that, Philly's culture, the foundation that it was built on tanking. So you can't just turn the person that is used to losing into a winner overnight. So I don't even put that on the general manager. I put that on whoever, well, actually it is who the general manager was tanking. But, it was a culture built on, not finishing games the right way, not playing hard because you were trying to get the best possible lottery players. And, the chicken comes home to roost when it comes to that because you still had a bunch of players who your core players actually came in because of that and was sitting injuries or not playing. And now they're starting to, learn how to win. I mean, I think everybody needs to learn how to win, and that's where it starts. But as far as the coach goes, you got to think, who was the coach when y'all was losing? He's still there.
Still there.
So if the coach that was there while you was losing is still there, and you're trying to turn your program into a championship caliber program, but you had this coach pretty much developing guys while you were tanking, how important is his voice really going to be when this is the same dude I was looking at when we was going 19 and 60 something, right?
It's like that Dusty Rose made that guy.
Yeah, how easy is it for me to tune you out when I was tuning you out when we was going 19 and 60 and nobody was saying nothing?
Time for your walking papers. And it's not necessarily always a bad thing though, because it's just you have expiration on everything. Larry Bird said it right 20 years ago when he was coach. After about 3 or 4 years, the message in the voice starts to get stale and you might want to change.
Simple. That's simple. So with that being said, I'm gonna let this one question go, then we're gonna do a 4 or 5, and then we're gonna get ready to wrap up. It says, where did it go? It says, well, that's another element of the bubble though, Ham. Do teams have to evolve, or is it you have you was who you was when you got here?
Repeat that.
It says, do teams have time to evolve, or is it you was who you was when you got here?
Champions are champions. Contenders are contenders. That's simple. I can go with that one because they ain't have enough time for a full evolution anyway. They pretty much went back to like enough preseason into the house. And if you didn't make it past those season rounds in preseason, the 8 season games, option are who you are. You slide out for whatever that you need to get done. Champions, they're gonna be champions. That's part of the journey. So, good question. Because I don't think it's just a definite answer to it.
Got you. Blackstock, pop question. Who got caught with the burner phone? That's KD. Blackstock, in the comments, let me know what you're trying to say with that when it comes down to the burner phone aspect of it. Because I think the Golden State aspect of the burner phone thing is that's just who that person, that's who that person is. That person is somebody who wants to validate themselves. And I think that we can just leave that pretty much at that. Because validation is something that some of these athletes seek moving forward.
I
mean, we could-
thought I was about to say Hugh Freeze.
I mean, and even with the burner phone, though, you got to think about it too. If we're going to talk about culture, yeah, they brought him in, but is he still there?
Nope.
See, this is the thing about culture. When you build real culture, no matter what the talent is, only real culture is going to attract real things. Not to say KD ain't real, but when you're used to being in a culture of confusion, when you're used to being around a narrative that say you have to do it a certain way, it wears on you to the point where you want to go out and prove to do it that way. And unfortunately, the media is a toxic culture in general. And KD has been around this toxic culture his whole career. So when he goes to Golden State, that toxic culture keeps saying, this is the cupcake way, this is the easy way out, this is the easy way out. How do you not expect a person that's been dealing with toxic culture not to fight toxic with toxic?
Hey, man.
So we got
Let's talk about the other one, man.
Miami,
we stay on that
Miami
too long.
versus Indiana. I think this is a simple series in my opinion, and I say it's simple now that I've seen one game be played. I'm gonna be honest with you, Miami just is 10 deep. It's gonna be a lot of things that they're gonna be able to do offensively and defensively. They're gonna switch. They got a lot of guys who do accept challenges of guarding people one-on-one. Here's the issue right now for Indiana. You paid Malcolm Brogdon to be your third option. You notice I didn't say second. You notice I didn't say first. The issue that I have with this issue with that is he's not a guy who's going to consistently create a shot for himself. He's not a guy who's going to consistently create a shot for another. That's the thing you got. What you got yourself is a combo guard who occasionally can play with the ball and probably is best off the ball when it comes down to him being able to play basketball. That's not a knock on him. That's just saying when you got a 6'5" guard who has no skill that is an A+ skill necessarily, but has a B+ skill with playing defense, has B- skills with playmaking, and then on top of all of that other things that he has, the best thing that he possesses is a 6'5" frame to be able to guard multiple positions. Unfortunately, that's how I look at the player. That's not saying he's a bum or he's a scrub. That's just saying if he's your third best option, we may be in trouble because your problem right now for Indiana is with no Oladipo, that means now he has to become the second best playmaker, if not the best playmaker on your basketball team, considering the number of dollars that you're paying him. I like Aaron Holiday. I think he's a good player. You know, the one thing I'll say about the Holidays is I think he's about 2 or 3 years from seeing who he really is going to be. Is he going to be more like Justin? Is he going to be more like Drew? Or is he going to be the perfect complement of the two? Who knows? But with that being said, I'm going to pass it to MJ. Then we're going to go to Ham, and then we're going to go to Trav. But MJ, your thoughts?
I'll be quick. Malcolm Brogdon was never brought in to be a third option or a fourth option. He was brought in as a piece. If you think about it, the reason why Indiana is in the situation they're in now is because they just don't have health. Sabonis is your second option behind Oladipo. Both are injured. Jeremy Lamb was going to be a guy that you have to conclude in as a factor. TJ Warren, we saw what he's capable of doing if you give him the opportunity. Those are 4 guys that I just mentioned right there that can give you at least 80 to 90 points. What Malcolm Brogdon does is Malcolm Brogdon says, okay, with all of you 4, since I know you guys like to score, y'all give me whatever bull that is supposed to be guarding y'all. Y'all ain't got to guard him. I'll guard him. And what I'm also going to do in addition to that is while y'all cooking and creating and they helping off, I guarantee you if y'all give me an open look, I'm going to make 40% of those just to keep it so that you can still do what you do best. 3 of those guys are injured. That's the series.
Short and
Damn.
sweet for me. Short and sweet for me, man. They can't score, man. Not through a 7 game. You know, it's just too much.
60 points on the bench, injured. 60 points on the bench is injured.
It's a lot like Utah and Denver, but then a little different. Just because with Miami, it's their youth, and it's like you look at a cat like Bam, the way Bam got down the other day, 17, 10, and 6, all over the place. Him getting in his luggage. You got the young guards shooting, and they run on the floor, and then he got the Dragon closing it out. This series with no big, no Sabonis is like, yeah, I'm gonna be cool with Indiana because I like Nate. I like the squad. I think Nate's a great coach. I think they'll get one, but Spo got too many bullets, man.
When you ain't got no bullets to shoot a gun, what's gonna happen? You can't shoot. You can't shoot. You got one person with one eye right now. That's Oladipo. Sabonis is done. Malcolm Brogdon, it just ain't him to work like that. What's my big Turner? He ain't built like that.
Never was.
Yeah, they never was. I mean, they it's a valiant effort, but I mean, Jimmy Butler and the two American white boys that's out there sniping, one on Big Blue Nation, they out there shooting it, and then you got Bam, Big Blue Nation, one of the most improved players in the game. They putting in work, man. They just putting in. I mean, I picked the Heat. I picked the Heat to win it. They may sweep this.
Yeah,
Hey, it's possible.
They
It's
may
possible.
be early. They may be in their hotel room very early, avoiding and being quarantined.
I mean, nobody knew Vic was going to end up getting injured like he did. We thought he was turning the corner. I mean, things happen. And we always say this at the beginning of every playoffs. Everything's subject to change because it's going to be the healthiest team to win anyway. The best, healthiest team. It's always going to be the best, healthiest team. So all the things that we anticipate, you got to think. Like I said, this is the lab, which means we are scientists. What that means is we don't mind being wrong. In fact, we want to be wrong so that we can learn from it. So if you got one scientist that's seeing something and another scientist is seeing differently, whichever one's wrong gonna big up the one that's right because we both get to learn from this. And I think that's the thing that people are missing and what makes Scene so special is this ain't a hot take. This ain't no debate. As you can see, we disagree a lot because we're scientists trying to create our own formula based off of what we're seeing that's to anticipate what's going to happen.
John, before you go in,
50%. Go ahead.
finish this off for me. The best ability is what?
Availability.
Bingo.
And then we got Houston versus OKC. This is the sign me up series, but it's looking like sign me out. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm not. First of all, let me tell you something. First of all, I'm not gonna do this thing with the referees. I think all of y'all know. Everybody on the scene, everybody in the group know. I don't complain about referees because I think all referees make bad calls.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the job. The part of the job is they call it the three blind mice for a reason. Days where they don't see anything that really is going on. I thought a lot of the stuff that OKC did, a lot of the calls OKC didn't get was ones Houston got. It's fine. It's gonna be like that. But here's what I want from OKC. First of all, Chris Paul can't afford to shoot abysmal from the field. That's number one. Number two, SGA has to be way more aggressive. He has to be way more assertive. If he's not going to attack the basket, OKC don't have a chance. Schroeder, stop shooting that jumper. Schroeder, you are now on the Russell Westbrook time. Stop shooting that damn jumper. Stop shooting that broke SH. Stop it. I can't take it. This man was airballing every jumper for about 2-3 quarters the other day. Everything was short. Everything was either short or it was under the That man was hitting the net.
And my man airball one from like 16. I was like, man, what are you doing?
We can't do that. Hey, Schroeder, stop shooting that broke jumper. If you shoot that jumper again, I'm putting you on Marcus Smart diet. Assists and actions. Assist and action. That's what I don't care about your points right now. Assist and action.
Hey, what I say how I say on Harlem Nights, stop shooting that little ass shit.
I got the beat.
I can't do Schroeder doing that, man. That was a big part of why they were getting runs and then he would airball. It was like the equivalent of, well, here's all the momentum.
Also, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm seeing way too many air balls inside of the backboard shots. What's going on in that bubble, man? Is the court set a certain way?
Man, I seen Dame. Dame hit one off the side, start a break.
I see.
Yo.
I seen Kuz hit one out the side of the bubble, and then Gary kicked up right back.
Right, back to back.
One that started a break.
I like y'all competing.
Hey,
y'all want to see who hit the side of the backboard the smoothest?
Hey, it was bad. When you see some of these backboard hits from the side angle, listen, now MJ, me MJ, I'm gonna be honest with you. In my shooting career, I've hit the side of the backboard maybe 3 times. Otherwise,
that's why I'm blaming the bubble, baby.
Or I'm looking at the rim, or I'm looking at the backboard, or I'm practicing hitting it off the backboard from the corner. I'm not about to hit what these on the side,
bubble.
Bruh, that ain't even a bubble. That's
it gotta be.
It gotta be something in the bubble, man.
Yo, they hitting that jump hard too.
It's something about it's either that 94 feet is 93.8.
Yeah.
It's something like it's something going on in that bubble.
Came down and hit one, and then Dame, I'm talking about Dame hit one so hard it started a fast break on the other end. I was like, what? Yeah, man. It is what it is. But me personally, I actually picked Oklahoma City to win the series. That was just one of my picks that if I'm wrong, I kind of knew Houston was going to win, but I picked Oklahoma City because I just wanted their guard play to be better. But Houston, oh my God, they wasn't hitting nothing at first, and then all of a sudden, James Harden hit 2, House hit a couple.
Blackstock, don't worry, I got you, Blackstock. I got a question for you.
I did not know Eric Gordon was playing.
Eric Gordon came.
That changes a lot.
And who did I say? I said Eric Gordon playing does change something because that's a better version of what they need from a perimeter standpoint. Because he can shoot the tray ball, he can break down the defense and get a shot for himself or for somebody else. But not only that, Eric Gordon is one of them players that can bully his way to the basket and get those foul calls that a lot of these guys on Oklahoma City are not getting. When he knocked SGA to the back of the gym and laid the ball up with power, I was like, yeah, this ain't looking too good now. So you add Westbrook with that. That's a problem.
An Indy kid for you though. That's an Indiana kid for you. And did y'all see Jeff Green with the butter roll against Steven Adams? Oh my God.
Don't fall for it. Hey, look.
I don't
fall for it.
But that was
because Jeff Green has had potential for the last 15 years. I'm done with his potential. I'm done. I'm not invested in it.
He checked out of the Final Four. He checked out when he was with the Grizzlies. He checked out almost every other shot he was.
I'm not invested. Nope, I'm not buying.
I'm not
buying stock in him. No, I don't care. He can do whatever he wants. I don't care. He got 50. I don't care.
I'm not putting no stock in him, but that impressed me. He showed
the Thunder got to defend better, man. There was way too many clean. You know what I'm saying? It was target practice after a while. You know, just going, these cats just going around the horn, man, just shooting that ball down. And you know Chris was ready to cuss. Chris was cussing. You already know. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like, yo, that's
Should've been
really what
busting
stood
that
out to
stuff
me
shooting
from
that
game
jumper
one.
he
It's
was
like, yo,
shooting.
y'all better hit it.
Only person who showed up to play only two people who showed up to play yesterday was Steven Adams and Gallinari. Shouts out to both of them. They did what they were supposed to do. We all know Harden is Harden. We just gonna leave that where it is. Eric Gordon playing the series, and at the end of the day, Jeff Green playing like that is what it is. I'm not, but I'm with MJ. You know, listen, this is me, and this is all I'm gonna say, and we're gonna get to the question because we got an AD question that we're gonna break down real quick. I'm not trusting Jeff Green to make a corner jumper, a 15-foot jumper, a side jumper, a jumper from the wing, 65+% from the free throw line, consistent defense, to even show up game to game. I'm not trusting him. You notice I just named 7 different things. I'm not trusting Jeff Green.
Look, you know what Jeff Green is to me? If I'm like an old school parent and a kid falls and you don't look their way so they won't cry, that's Jeff Green to me. Nope. I won't look. I don't care if you draw Picasso. I'm not. Nope. I'm not looking.
Yo,
He
that's
shocked me. He just shocked. He shocked me. He shocked me. I'm talking about
He can't shock me because I've seen it too many times.
I'm talking about the head fake was so nice and neat. He got him off the ground. He took that one nice dribble. I'm talking about he butter rolled the thing with the left hand. I was like, whoa.
I almost want to blame that Princeton office at Georgetown. I almost want to blame it. I almost want to blame it. Shouts out to John Thompson and his son. I almost want to blame it though.
He didn't in the Final Four in Atlanta. He didn't show up.
So, question: did anything change about AD's game from New Orleans to LA? Let me start this off by just saying this. Yes, something did change. LeBron James changed. Go ahead, MJ. Take it away.
Oh, you getting that to me? That was quick. It was quick.
Long, elaborate? Nah, not on this one.
No, I mean, your game can't change if you play with LeBron. You can't not change and play with LeBron. I've never seen it before. I mean, the closest person that kind of just did what they wanted with LeBron and it worked out was Kyrie. He was the only one. But, you know, even with that, it was like necessary evil because points wasn't coming from nowhere during the time. So it was desperation. They needed every one of those. But as far as his game goes, I think with AD, I think he's shooting more threes than I would like for him to shoot. I think he's a way more mismatch than people really believe. I don't think people understand how skilled he really is. He literally can give it to you however he wanted to, but he likes playing big. He likes, you know, being aggressive in the basket. He can make free throws. I mean, his game, anytime you play with a Hall of Fame player, your game is going to have to change. So, yeah, that's a simple answer. And Jern pretty much covered it. Go ahead, Ham.
He's still doing the same stuff he was doing before. He was shooting threes in New Orleans. He was banging on cats. He was blocking. He probably not blocking as many shots. That's about it. You know what I'm saying?
That's because he ain't able to play safety because another dude playing safety, splitting time at safety right now.
And I understand the root of their question. And I saw the question being asked on on the forum. I understand where it came from and why it came that way. But it's just like this is once again one of these narratives that people stir up.
Oh, after Trav go, I'm gonna wrap that up. I'm gonna ask the last question, and we're gonna wrap the show up because I'm gonna wrap this up real nice and neat for y'all. Because I think folks.
To the Trav.
Hey, to the Batmobile.
Changed. Just his surroundings has changed, man. He's been doing the same thing regardless, man. He's been doing the same thing regardless. He's just getting the ball more. He's getting the ball more.
He never play with nobody like this. That's it.
Correct. Now,
I ain't saying he didn't play with somebody as close as LeBron, but I can tell you, when Rondo and Drew was there, they fed him the way he's supposed to be fed. The same way LeBron is feeding him. the same way, especially off the slip screens and stuff like that. But overall, his game ain't changed. His game ain't changed not one bit.
Here's something that I need for everybody to stop doing. AD is not soft because he don't post up as much as KG posted up. He got more skill than KG. He can handle the rock better than KG. He can shoot the ball better than KG. He's quicker than KG from a lateral standpoint and a physical standpoint of getting up and down the court. Let me start right there. Let's just stay right there in that one place. AD can handle the rock better, meaning if he wanted to, he can break down Kawhi Leonard off the dribble and go and lay the ball up or dunk the jump. He can move better, meaning he can guard small guards or big players in the post or small guards on the perimeter. I have seen him do it. He has put such great defense on perimeter players that they have forced up a bad shot with the shot clock running down where it has either gotten blocked or has been an air ball or it has hit the illustrious side of the backboard. Period. It is what it is. Bruh, it happened to Dame. Was anybody on the Lakers besides Anthony Davis stand in front of Dame? No. The answer is absolutely no. Anthony Davis sat down on Dame and blocked the shot, and he released, and he got a dunk. Now, I bet y'all didn't remember that play. Now, listen.
Of course.
I'm on trash now. Because what we're not about to do is we're not about to trash one of the 3-4 best players in the NBA because he don't post up as much as you want him to. That's not even in the Lakers offense for him to do that. The Lakers offense
Not anybody offense.
is a man at the top and 4 people spread out. That is the way LeBron James has played since he was 18 years old with Ricky Davis and DeJuan Wagner and Daniel Marshall and Ben Wallace and Wally Zerbiak and goddammit Boobie Gibson and Shannon.
Darius Miles.
Man, look, I can name the whole team, bro. What we not about to do is we not about to give this man this soft label because y'all don't think the man didn't post up more than 60% of the time when he was in New Orleans. He was pick and pop, pick and fade, Anthony Davis, spray him in the mid-range.
Do you watch hoops or do you skim through it?
Don't do this. I do this. Don't do this because I do this. Don't do this because I do this.
I see why y'all was laughing at me when I got mad. It's entertaining. I see why y'all was laughing at me when I got mad. I get it now. Pretty entertaining.
This is mind-boggling. Like, are we serious? Like, when you just watch the playoff game. They won one game against Golden State. That 1-8 matchup when Anthony Davis was in that game. I believe it was the game. It was not the game he scored 51 points. And that 51-point game that Anthony Davis had, he was hitting mid-range jumpers. He was cleaning up bad shots. And all on top of doing those 2 things that he was doing, he was also playing with a better post player, who was DeMarcus Cousins. If you notice, Anthony Davis was feeding the high-low post. With the high-low post, high-low post. I'm saying it one more time because y'all be acting like y'all watch basketball. Y'all don't. High-low post, meaning the high-low, the low post, and then the boogie was down there dominating. Anthony Davis plays the 5 for the Lakers because the Lakers play small because the Lakers like to shoot jumpers. Anthony Davis does not want to play the 5, which is part of what he told Alvin Gentry back in the day with the Pelicans. I do not want to play with the centers. I am a help defender. I am going to guard my position, but I am not a center. Period. End of the story. If you ask any more stupid questions, not saying that what Blackstar question was stupid, not saying his question, Bezos question, but we're talking about the rest of the world who question this man's greatness based on something. He played 2 7'1" players yesterday who just are in sync. And Hassan Whiteside is one of the best shot blocking bigs in basketball. Period. There's nothing else that needs to be said.
I know one more thing needs to be said. Don't hate the player, hate the evolution. All right, go ahead.
That's all.
No, I'm finished. I have nothing further to add to this. Don't compare AD and KG. It's not a comparison. KG is a great player. He's a Hall of Fame player. But Anthony Davis is a better version of what KG ever. KG ain't average 5 blocks a game in high school or college. KG ain't half the defender he is on the weak side if you want to be honest. KG was great because at the time, KG was one of the more elite and mobile bigs. Anthony Davis is the cream of the crop when it comes to being a mobile big. He can do everything on the floor, everything. If you watch the Houston game, which LA lost when LeBron didn't play, Houston beat them, but Houston couldn't get up 20 on them folks. Part of it was because of the same guy y'all saying is soft.
Ain't y'all calling this man soft, but we gotta address this BS. Now y'all got me aggravated. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to actually go watch, Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray and them, but we got to answer these questions. Hey, man, it's a dumb ass question, man. I'm just gonna call it for what it is.
Folks just be saying stuff off their emotions, man, and the reason why a lot of people
And it ain't Blackstock either. It ain't
KG.
Blackstock either. I know why he asked.
It's a lot of people that sit up there and holler at KG is because he scream and holler. I made one of my co-hosts my co-host because the simple fact we had an eloquent conversation of the same matter but a different person. Just because a person scream and holler and you stuck on one side of the revolution of the game and thinking it should be like that now, it's not like that. It's not like that. So with the KG and AD analogy, man, them two whole different games, to be honest. Them two whole different games.
Don't hate the player, hate the evolution. I'm not going to even invest nothing else besides that. Don't hate the player, hate the evolution. Basketball is the only game in which it could keep going on and it never evolves past 1998. I wonder why. Go ahead. It just can't evolve beyond 98. Like 1998 was at its best. It's just been on decline ever since.
Blackstock, you set these folks up, man.
Oh, I forgot. It was cool in 2003 too. Then for whatever reason, it fell off again.
I had to shut up my guy.
All I want to say is this
I got nothing left, man.
Thing. I just don't like. I like to talk good basketball. Don't get me wrong. I like some narratives because they funny. They cute. And I got to say it on my Memphis accent. They cute, but that ain't it. That ain't it. It ain't working. What I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna let y'all trash a dude for doing what he been doing.
I'm not trashing nobody that's averaging 30 and 10 in the offs for a career.
I'm not trashing nobody that I can't stop with my own 2 feet, with my own body. If I'm gonna average 60 a game, so I ain't got no room to say nothing. I may get 1 or 2 steals occasionally because I'm smart. But that's
why the same people that's calling him soft is loving Paul George though?
I think overall, the same people who say that Anthony is soft is the same people who say that again, this is the gift and the curse to playing with LeBron James. If you don't play the way that they think you're supposed to play, you're automatically soft. Chris Bosh was soft, but the man still did his job. Kevin Love was soft. Now all of a sudden Anthony Davis is soft. I know this. Wow. Oh,
was Anton Jameson soft too?
I mean,
no, they didn't care about that. They didn't care about that.
Mm-mm.
They didn't care about that.
Granted. I mean, he's only a 20,000 point scorer, career wise. They don't care about it.
Lord have mercy.
Gotta go eat Chinese food, man. Ain't studying them folks no more, man. That's pooping, man.
I'm hungry myself, man. I ain't ate in a while, man. I've been too busy eating on this podcast.
Hey, look, that's what it is. So look, man, the scene. This has been another one, 94 Feet of Life, in collaboration with the scene, the THESCEN, all caps on the scene. THE is, regular. We do regular things with that, but we need y'all to see this is the scene. More than anything, man, like the page on Facebook. Make sure y'all get your friends, subscribe to the channel. Or here on YouTube, mash the like button. You make sure you get those notifications when we get ready to drop some heat. As we do, the impromptu lunch specials will always be here, hot and ready. You can call us Little Caesars if you want to, but it's coming. at the end of the day,
I know better about that nasty ass Little Caesars pizza, man.
Little Caesars actually has a couple decent
Man, no,
pieces.
man, they hot nasty, man. I like cheese bread though.
Now I'm putting up. They got a hot and ready. They put a hot and ready, but have 5 pepperonis on. Get the hell out of here.
I'm just mad that they slogan is something that a strip club can use.
Hot and ready.
Yo. So with
It
that,
throws me off.
well, with that being said, we're gonna keep this on. We got a view show coming up for you guys with Big Junior, Mo Schefter tonight, me, myself, and this is MJ. We got my guy Jay Ham. We got Trav. Shouts out to Big Shot. He had to go back to the 9 to 5. Shouts out to the viewers, to the listeners. Hey man, y'all just keep on supporting this thing. True Man, False World, scene. We out, y'all.